Hello there, wellness entrepreneur. Welcome back. Today, I'm honored to have on special guest, Julie Geigle. Julie, can you tell us a little bit about who you help and what you're doing these days?
Hey, Allison. I'm so honored to be here with you guys today. I help people who are suffering create more ease and joy in their life.
I love
So I've been working in this field now for about 17 years. I can't believe it.
Yes, love
Used to
that.
be a school teacher, and now I'm a spiritual life coach, a psychic medium, and a healer. And it's just been a transformative journey. I swear I do this more for myself than other people. You know what they say.
Yes, I love that. Awesome. Yeah, and we met in Amy Porterfield's world years ago.
Yes, yes, yes.
So tell us
Um,
a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey. Because I'm sure people are like, oh, 17 years. So tell them a little bit about the journey.
yeah, it was a crazy ride. My parents are entrepreneurs, and
Okay.
I always swore I was never going to be one.
Me too. Me too.
I'm like, no way. They had no life. They worked all the time and it was awful. It was awful. And so I tried my best, honestly, Allison. I loved teaching. I was a school teacher for sixth grade. And I just, when you have the spirit, it just does not let you go. And so I left teaching and opened my own business, Heaven Sent Healing. And I'm what you call an organic marketer.
Mhm.
Actually, until I met you.
Okay, tell us more.
Um, I would not pay for anything.
That's
Uh, I
okay.
I figured out a way to do it free, to do it cheap, Band-Aid approach, spaghetti on the wall. And I just, hustled a lot, like a
Mhm.
lot. And by the time I met you, Allison, or found you in this arena, because you've transformed since I met you,
Thank you.
um, I created a very, very nice business with a very, very nice income above and beyond, tripled my salary as a teacher.
Mhm.
And I always had a revenue goal in my head. And I thought, you know what? If I can hit that number, then I'll be happy.
Mhm.
Then I can call it a day.
Yeah.
And the harder I tried, the harder it got.
Yeah. Yeah. That's sometimes
and
happens.
and finally I just got to a point where I could afford to hire help
Mhm.
to help me figure it out. I didn't have to do this all alone anymore. I could hire
Yes.
help. And so, you know, being in the coaching industry myself, I knew the value of coaching,
Mhm.
and it had, just hit me um, smack upside the head that you're a coach, but you don't have a coach.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was like, what?
Yeah.
So, it was kind of that realization, that two part of, here I'm helping other people, guiding them, supporting them. I know the value of this work, but yet I am not giving that to myself.
Yeah, I think that's such a common thought. So how did you work with that thought? Because you eventually hired me.
Right.
You got over it. So how did you work around
Oh,
that?
marketing. I hated marketing. Hated marketing. I was
That's
awful at marketing. My launches kept flopping. I mean, I'd invested in program after program after program. I did
Mhm.
everything, dotted the I's, crossed the T's, nothing was working.
Mhm.
And I teach people how to keep a high vibration, how to manifest and create. And yet I felt I created huge success in my
Mhm.
career, but
Mhm.
I had hit a ceiling,
Mhm.
and I I was struggling to figure out how to bust through that block and lift the ceiling. And it was funny, Allison, because I saw you begin to transform. And I was kind of watching in the wings, and you would sign up for a program and I'd be right behind you because I'd watch your transformation. And it was like, oh my gosh, this girl, she's on fire. And then I'd sign up for it and I could, feel the changes in my life. And then you signed up for a program that was way too out of my price range. And I was like, you know what? Someday I'll get there. But until then, I'm just going to keep watching Allison.
Yeah. Because I knew you have I just want everyone to know like how valuable your work is. Cause I've known you now for a number of years and your work is so valuable. And you have over the 17 years, you have built such a loyal and strong audience and following. So I knew that ceiling was possible to just not even crash through. Like it wouldn't require like a huge amount of energy that wasn't sustainable. I knew that you could for sure reach your goals.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I remember working with that program on launching, and I think my profit on the launch was 6,000. I remember the gal said to me, wait, you made 6,000 on your launch? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, well, how much did you put in? What were your expenses? How much was your marketing? And I was like, I don't believe in paying for marketing. And she was like, are you kidding me? You made 6,000 on your own with no marketing? I'm like, yeah, but my goal was blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh no, honey, you need to be happy. This is a day to celebrate because we do launches where people are spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to get the profit that you got.
On ads and time.
Yes. Yeah. So it really, the whole launch thing, when I was following you and watching you, Allison, it really began to shift my perspective on how to earn money and the quickest way to earn money. And the biggest thing I've gotten out of working with you has been simplifying.
I love that. Yeah.
And that's my motto. I actually have a sign on my wall that says simplify.
Yes. And so how has that mantra, I guess you could say, how has that impacted your business now?
Holy crap. How has it not? I mean, it's just the strangest thing. Honestly, every time I think about it, I just giggle because it just makes zero sense. I literally am working less, making more, having more time for my family, more time for myself, guilt-free, and setting the hours that I choose. I work 3 days a week. It's just great.
Yes. I have the biggest smile on my face. And also you just hit your biggest revenue month yet. Do you want to share that with everyone?
Above and beyond. So I've had my goals set with you, and every month, did you hit your goals? No. Did you hit your goals? No. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be the one that this just doesn't work for me.
No.
And then this month came and I'm like, my goal. It works. Yeah, I almost hit 10,000. I'm going to call it 10,000 because if I round up, it's 10,000.
Yes, you hit 10,000 and that's like double your goal, right?
My goal was at 8,000.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I had settled. I had said to myself after the first few months, if I hit 5,000, I'll be happy.
That's where I got it. Yeah.
I need to adjust my goal. Yeah. Maybe my goal is too lofty. No. And then this month when I hit 10,000, it was definitely a sign that your goal is not too lofty.
Yes.
change it.
100%. And you did it with, as you just mentioned, I think this is the most important thing, a sustainable schedule. So it's repeatable. This is repeatable. This is just the beginning. And it's not to say that like, okay, that guarantees that next month and the month after will be 10,000,
Yeah.
but you're going to start hitting more months of these higher numbers now. Just open the ceiling for you.
Floodgates. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. I feel it. I can feel the shift in my body. I know, I watched a program that focused on the mantra, I am in huge demand. And I
Mm-hmm.
watched that last year, and I remember taking that mantra in and really embracing that throughout the time with you and the work we've done. And now here today, she's coming back around with a replay on that. And that mantra has a whole
Yes, that's right. Because you're close to a wait list now.
I
You are in demand. You are. And I hope you're taking time to embody and celebrate that, because you really do deserve that success. And I just want to acknowledge that here for a moment, because there's so many people that, wonder, is it possible for them? Just like you were. And it took you 17 years, but you got here now. So it can happen at any time. It can happen at any time.
Most definitely. If I hadn't hired you, I mean, I'll be brutally honest. If I had not hired you, I would not have gotten this, because the block that you helped me cross was the thought in my head that I could only handle 20 clients a month,
Mm-hmm.
that I'm a highly sensitive person, and I spend a lot of time grounding my energy and clearing and making sure I'm vibrating high and blah, 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 blah. And, the nature of my work is that I help people who are suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And so oftentimes that was very, very draining and difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, you helped me release the block that I could only work with 20 clients a month.
Yes. And you're helping other people right now, because I know there's a lot of empaths listening, highly sensitive people listening, and you just made it possible for them too.
Yeah. Yeah. And when I removed that restriction, it was reverse engineering, I think you called it. And it's like, okay, what's your number, Julie? What goal do you want to hit? And for me, it's 100K.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, all right, well, if you want to hit 100K, then this is how many hours, and this is your price. This is how many hours that you're going to need to put in to
Mm-hmm.
achieve that goal. This is how many clients you're going to need to have. So when I looked at the number of clients, I was like, oh, no, there's no way. There's no way I'll be able to do that. And then you're like, you're going to have to raise your prices. Oh, there's no way I can do that. And so then, doing the work with you and, going through some techniques, working with my nervous system, I was able to shift out of working with a certain number of clients a month into serving a certain number of hours a month.
Yes.
And I have no idea what that was all about, but it completely changed.
Yeah, you found what works for you. That's the most important thing.
Yeah. 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 Feels really good.
I love this. And there's a couple other things I think is so important. Two other topics I'd love to talk about, if that's okay. The first is how you are a spiritual mentor and a coach, and it's possible for you to have money goals, because some people think the two can't coexist.
Yes.
What's
Yes.
your
And
thoughts on that?
I got over that actually when I became a Reiki master teacher,
Mm-hmm.
because part of their philosophy is that there has to be a money exchange,
Mm-hmm.
because everything's energy.
Yes.
And if you're giving energy, then there has to be an exchange in return to balance.
Yes.
It's all about balancing.
Yes.
And so for me, it took me a while, but I was able to move past that exchange. But then, Allison, I got hung up in the wanting to help everybody
Uh-huh.
land.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And if you can't afford this price, well, then I have this price or that price, or over here, we could do this. So I had email readings, and I had 15-minute sessions, and I had 30-minute sessions. And I mean, at every price point imaginable, because we didn't want to leave anybody out.
Sure. Yes.
And it was, again, with your help, with your work, helping me to simplify, because what was happening was people were becoming very confused. And confusion, I forget that saying.
Confused mind leads to a frozen mind.
Yes, confused mind leads to indecisiveness.
Yes.
And people don't take action when they're confused.
Yeah.
And it was so interesting, because once we started unraveling that, it was so interesting how people would be like, my daughter referred somebody and I sent her the link and she didn't sign up, and she didn't sign up. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe she changed her mind. And then I kept hearing spirit say, follow up, follow up, follow up.
Yeah.
And I followed up, and I said, just wondering if the link is working, if you had any questions about anything. And she said, oh, yeah, I was going to book an appointment, but I wasn't sure if I should do A, B, or C.
You're right.
And I could hear Allison in my head. How many times do I have to say that?
It's okay. I've been there too. I really have. Maybe
So,
not as much, but
every time you would pinpoint something as, maybe a blog, people would show up and confirm what you said.
Yeah.
I was like, all right.
Working together here.
Working together.
Love that.
Yes,
I think
yes.
that'll help so many people as well. And the other thing I wanted to point out, which you touched upon, is how important mindset is.
Yeah.
Can you speak to that for yourself?
Well, one of my favorite quotes from Eckhart Tolle is, the thoughts in your mind are not who you are. And I remember finding that as a school teacher, and it really had been life-changing, not only in my career, but in my marriage. And then when I started working with you, and you're such a master at the mindset, and I thought I was. And what was very interesting, what was so fascinating, and you hear this time and time again, is I'm an expert at helping other people. But when it comes to myself, it's not so easy.
Yeah, for everyone. That's why I have my own coach too, right?
Yes. So yeah, when I began to identify, thought patterns that were blocking me or holding me back, and dismantling that, how do I want to feel instead? And just working with you, just talking about different things, offering different perspectives on situations. It just created an expansion. Created an expansion. And it helped me to step out of, 50,000 thoughts run through our mind every day, and 80% are negative. And that's our default.
Sure.
The programming that's constantly running in our mind. And 20% is positive. And that 20% that's positive, that's where our potential lies.
Yes.
And so you really helped me not only understand that concept on a whole new level, but really begin to embody it and spend more time hanging out in the possibilities and potential of what I could create for my life, instead of believing the thoughts in my mind that this is stupid. Nobody's going to want this. Works for
Mhm.
them, but it's not going to work for you. And just endless.
Yes, yes, exactly. So, what do you, I think this is so important because what you just said resonates with so many people. How do you actually like embody those 20% of positive thoughts? Or what do you do in the moment when when you have this awareness that, oh, that thought doesn't serve me? Like that thought or this feeling is not serving me right now. What do you actually do in the moment? Do you have a practice these days?
One thing another teacher had shared when someone had shared a thought, a negative thought that was true,
Mhm.
she said, that might be true, but is it useful?
Yes. Yeah.
I
Is it
was like,
useful?
my
Yeah.
mind just exploded.
Yeah.
And so, really, when I have a negative thought that runs through my mind, and I just become aware that, oh, there's the stories, the thoughts in my mind are not who I am. And then I hear that teacher say, it may be true, but is it useful?
Mm-hmm.
Then I can just feel it all collapsing like a table and it just dissolves. And then that question, how do you want to feel instead?
Mm-hmm.
And then I go through how I want to feel instead. And
Yes.
so it's a matter of, because you're in this default thought pattern, it's just constantly running 80% of the time of your day.
Mm-hmm.
And those beliefs and thoughts. So you're constantly, once you become aware of that, you have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
You can choose to believe the lies,
Yeah.
lies, 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 so many lies, Alice.
Truth right
You
there.
can choose to believe the lies,
Mm-hmm.
or you can step into the truth. That's the 20%. That's, you're the creator. How
Mm-hmm.
do you want to feel instead?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a God person, so the divine is constantly guiding you
Mm-hmm.
if you choose, so for me it's looking away. I actually physically imagine myself,
Mm-hmm.
my whole body turning toward the 20% that's positive.
Oh, uh-huh. Yeah, I
The
love that. That's
potential.
powerful.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. It's like, no, thank you.
Yes.
I'm not dancing with drama anymore.
Mm.
And living in possibilities and potential.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And I love the fact that you said it may be true because by just adding that phrase, you're acknowledging what your unconscious mind has brought to the surface. And so it's not like you're resisting it or you're blocking it. You're acknowledging it. And that allows for the collapse as well, I think.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Because yeah, you may not have a full classroom.
Mm-hmm.
And so that may not feel good.
Mm-hmm.
That may feel like people aren't wanting what you have.
Mm-hmm.
But beating yourself up and criticizing yourself and judging yourself and ruminating on all of that, is that useful for you?
Right.
Be your own best parent.
Yes.
I would have fired me years ago. And I
Right.
did. Now I've got Allison.
I love that.
Right.
Yes. Awesome. So tell us a little bit how you work with people because you hinted upon over the 17 years, you have a wealth of experience, a wealth of knowledge, certifications. I know we just went through a coaching certification together. So often I hear from entrepreneurs with that have through the years collected a number of certifications and knowledges. And we just talked about simplification. How do you bring it together so it is streamlined and simple in your business?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm finding as I collect certifications through the years
Yes.
that I have a unique talent. And there aren't a lot of people who are, you know, a hypnotherapist, Reiki master, healer, psychic
Mm.
medium. I'm fourth generation psychic medium.
Wow. Uh-huh.
And now this coaching certification is just blowing it out of the water.
Yes.
And so I'm just having so much fun
There you go.
working with people and the freedom, you know, and flexibility. It's all customized. So certainly I've got all of that certification. But when someone comes in, when I'm working with a person, I ask them, you know, how can I help you? What do
Mhm.
you want to change? And then based on my toolbox and the divine, because I work with Archangel Metatron specifically,
Okay.
I've been working with Metatron since 2011.
Mhm.
I trans-channeled him on the radio for 5 years,
Wow.
which was super exciting.
That's cool.
And so he really has helped me to communicate and connect with the spiritual realm, along with both of my parents who are now crossed over.
Mm-hmm.
So those intimate connections are just priceless, really. And so it's just so much fun to, you know, be able to offer people, you know, I can see into the future. I can see what's coming for you. I can take a look at all of the possibilities, all of the paths, and tell you if you choose this path, this is what's going to happen. If you choose that path, that's what's going to happen. I can, if you have a trigger, if there's something that keeps happening in your life, that's triggering you, I can help you identify that and use special tools and techniques to collapse that and
Mm.
then create
Mm-hmm.
the how do I want to feel instead?
Mm-hmm.
Because you are not a slave to that default programming, the 80%.
Yes.
Because honestly, I think they say you know, 80% of the population is running on that default programming, the negative thoughts, believing
Mhm.
that's who they are and creating their reality based on all this judgment and criticism. And
Mhm.
that they're a very small part of the population is able to bust through that
Mm.
and really take back their power, find
Mhm.
their true nature, create the reality that they desire,
Mhm.
really believe that anything is possible.
Mhm.
And so it's just been so much fun to help people shift their perception and
Mhm.
create a life
Mhm.
that they love.
Yes. That's such powerful work. And it's so needed because I think mental health is been an important topic the last several years, especially coming out of the pandemic. It's really opened a lot of people's minds to the importance of mental health. And so this work really does change lives.
I had a client tell me 2 weeks, 2 sessions working with you, Julie, was I had more of an impact and a transformation than 2 years working weekly with
Mm.
my therapist.
Yes.
I was like, what?
Yes.
Can I have that in writing?
Yes. And put it everywhere.
Right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. And she was so excited because she had talked to her therapist about me, and her therapist was 150% on board.
Oh, good. I love that. Yeah,
Mhm.
because I mean, we don't have to work in with different modalities, different practitioner skills. We don't have to work in competition. We can work as a team, and that serves our clients and our patients the best, truthfully.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Collaboration.
Yes, I love that. Well, speaking of working with you, how can people find you if they want to work with you?
Well, you can learn more and find more information on my website over at heavensenthealing.us. And if you'd like to book a free discovery call to learn more about the program that I offer, the coaching program, you can book that over at heavensenthealing.us/call.
Awesome. I love that. So we'll add that to the show notes.
Okay.
And Julie, what would you say to the entrepreneur that might be struggling or is doubting, will this path of entrepreneurship work for them? What would you say to them?
The key to success is believing that it can happen for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anything is possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
And do you have another practice, since you described it and your other practice so well, of learning to believe?
I'm a fan of fake it till you make it.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Because as a hypnotherapist,
Uh-huh.
your mind does not know the difference between what is real and what is imagined.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I do a little bit of that myself. Like for me, I'll part of my belief practice is learning how to feel it in my body. So when you say, what do you want to feel? I learn how to feel that in my body. And then I might embody it, as you say, like on a walk. Like, how would this future successful me show up? Like, what would she do on the walk? Or when I go pick up my daughter, how would she show up? What would she drive? What would her attitude be like? Like the whole thing, like every detail.
I love it. That's amazing. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Fake it till you make it.
Yes.
Yeah. Your mind doesn't know the difference.
Yes. And then it becomes each time like easier to believe. Like,
Yeah.
so I can redirect it. I literally feel like it creates new neural pathways, because then it's easier to tap into that belief, and I can access thoughts that create that belief or that feeling easier as well.
And another key that really helped me is find somebody who's successful doing what you want to do. When
Yeah.
you know someone that has already achieved it, it makes it easier for you to attain it for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I had was doing a trade with a massage therapist, and I think she was earning $1,000 a week. And that was like 5 years or 10 years ago. It was early in my career.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking, I mean, I was totally blown away. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, what? You're making that much money? She's like, totally. And I'm booked solid all the time. I'm like,
That's
you
awesome.
new hero. And it literally helped me bust through the block of other people can do it, but I can't. When I personally knew someone
Mm-hmm.
that was already doing it,
Mm-hmm.
it was like, wow. And then you start thinking, oh, if she can do it, I can do it.
It's true.
And
Yeah.
that's exactly, Allison, what I was watching you. And I was thinking, if she can do it, I can do it.
That's right. You can. And it's just what was the word I was going to say? But you have a model of success. And now, oh, here's what I was going to say. And now you have our stories too. So, and you personally know us if you're listening to the podcast. You personally know us, so you can utilize our stories as an example. If we can do it, you can do it too.
Honestly, my husband's going to crap his pants when that tax return comes at the end of the year and I've hit 100K.
That's right.
When it was just a hobby.
That's awesome. I love that. Well, any parting words of wisdom for the audience today?
I would say no, Allison. We just hit everything.
Okay.
I don't think
Lovely.
anything out today.
Okay. Lovely. Well, congrats on all your success, because you really, as I'll say it again, your work is so valuable. It's so needed, and you deserve this success. You've put in a lot of time, and it's your time now.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I just am so grateful for being able to not only watch your success, but have your guidance and your help in achieving that for myself.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome.